In this particular lecture, we are going to talk about the formal definition of limits, also known as delta epsilon definition. Okay, this is called the formal definition of limits, and this is the basic structure on which limit is based. So let us first understand what the statement says of the delta epsilon definition, then we will be moving on to understand the graphical representation, the graphical description of the statement. So the statement says that, let me write it in a different color. The statement says that for all epsilon greater than 0, there exists some delta greater than 0 such that for all x belongs to the set of reals, mod of x minus c less than delta implies mod of fx minus l less than epsilon, and this means limit x tends to c f of x is equals to L, not 4, sorry, L. So have you understood what I said? For all epsilon greater than 0, where epsilon is real also, and delta greater than 0, delta is also a real number. For all epsilon greater than 0, there exists some delta greater than 0 such that, this is a symbol of such that for all x belongs to R, that is the set of reals, mod of x minus c less than delta implies that mod of fx minus l is less than epsilon, and this means that limit x tends to c fx is equals to L. That is the limit of fx is L when x approaches c. Okay, understood this particular concept? Got it? The statement is clear? Okay. So now, what is the graphical description or graphical definition of this particular statement? So suppose these are Cartesian coordinate, and say this is a curve. Suppose this is a point. Okay, this is a point x equals to c. Okay, and this is c minus delta, this is c plus delta. Similarly say this is your L, let's say this is your L, and say this is L minus epsilon, this is L plus epsilon, I mean on the y axis. Okay, on the y axis, y equals to this. So basically let me write it like this. So this is y equals to L plus epsilon, this is y equals to L, this is y is equals to L minus epsilon. Now see what this statement says. The statement first says that for all epsilon greater than 0, okay, here epsilon is greater than 0, there exists some delta greater than 0, delta is also greater than 0. For all epsilon greater than 0, there exists some delta greater than 0 such that for all x belongs to real, this is a real axis itself, for all x belongs to the set of reals, mod of x minus c less than delta. What does this mean? This means that minus delta is less than x minus c is less than delta. That means ki c minus delta is less than x less than c plus delta. So x is lying between c minus delta and c plus delta, where c is the value towards which x is approaching. So we have done the same thing itself. We have set the interval c from c minus delta to c plus delta and the x will be anywhere in between. And when x is in between this interval c minus delta and c plus delta, fx will be fx minus L mod is less than epsilon, which means that fx will be inside the interval L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon. We have done the same thing. So when we will be describing this graph, we will say that when x lies in between the interval c minus delta and c plus delta, fx will be lying in between the interval L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon. Okay, and see here, as delta tends to 0, as delta tends to 0 and epsilon tends to 0, as delta tends to 0, epsilon tends to 0, that is, as the difference of the interval starts to decrease and approaches towards x equals to c, the value of y also keeps on approaching towards L. From the both sides, what is happening? See, if this is a direct implicational case, right? A mod of x minus c less than delta is directly implying that fx minus L ki mod will be less than epsilon. Now if we take that epsilon is less than 0, now here what happens is basically your epsilon is some function of your delta is some function of epsilon. Basically this happens, your delta is some function of epsilon, and basically this function of epsilon is always present in a linear way, okay, or in a multiple way, such that delta is equals to k times epsilon. In these ways, delta is equals to suppose epsilon over root 3. Okay, the functions are available in these ways. The delta and epsilon are related in sorts of a single factor, a single multiplicative factor. So what happens ki when we set delta tends to 0, epsilon automatically gets sets to tend to 0, and when they both tend to 0, what happens is basically the interval decreases. So as the interval c minus delta, c plus delta tend to coincide into the point C, on the other hand, what happens ki the interval fx minus L minus epsilon, L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon, they also tend to coincide to the point L. Okay, and eventually we get that when x approaches C, our fx approaches L. So this is the basic definition of what the delta epsilon proof says. Okay, so now we will be solving problems on the basis of this delta epsilon proof, and that is what we actually need to do here. So let us take the first problem. Say, prove limit x tends to 2, 2x plus 8 is equals to 12. Okay, x tends to 2, 2x plus 8 is equals to 12. This is what we need to prove. So according to the so we need to prove it using the delta epsilon method. So before going to the delta epsilon method, first we need to do what? We need to find this relation between delta and epsilon. We need to find this relation between delta and epsilon. Okay, and for that we need some scratch work. That is rough work. How to find the rough work? See, carefully notice, this is your fx, this is your L, this is your c, this is your x. Okay, so first we start from fx minus L, mod of fx minus L less than epsilon. From there we will be moving on to find the relation between delta and epsilon. So we have mod of 2x plus 8 less than 12, minus 12 is less than epsilon. From here we can say that mod of 2x minus 4 is less than epsilon. That means 2 times x minus 2 is less than epsilon, right? That implies mod of x minus 2 is less than epsilon over 2. Okay, now for all epsilon there exists some delta such that for all x belongs to the set of reals, mod of x minus c will be less than what? Less than delta, which directly implies mod of fx minus L is less than epsilon. Now here see what is mod of x minus 2. Mod of x minus 2 is nothing but x minus c, because the limit here, the x is approaching towards 2. So from here we can say now mod of x minus 2 is less than delta. So if delta equals to epsilon over 2, then we are done with the proof. Okay, now we will be moving on. So we have actually find the relation between a delta and epsilon. Now see how will we set the proof. So proof. Okay, first write the statement. For all epsilon greater than 0, there exists some delta greater than 0 such that for all x belongs to the set of reals, mod of x minus 2 less than delta implies mod of, okay, let me write it here, implies mod of 2x plus 8 minus 14 is less than epsilon. Okay, now I wrote this statement to make you understand. You don't need to write this statement while you will be doing the proof. You will directly start from here. Mod of x minus 2 is less than delta. First write let delta equals to epsilon over 2. Got it? This is the first step. Let delta equals to epsilon over 2. Then write mod of x minus 2 less than delta. That implies 2 times x minus 2, mod of x minus 2 is less than delta, is less than 2 delta. That implies mod of 2x minus 4 is less than 2 delta. That implies mod of 2x minus 8 plus 8 minus 12 is less than 2 delta. That implies mod of fx minus L is less than 2 times epsilon over 2. That implies mod of fx minus L is less than epsilon. Thus, write it where fx equals to 2x plus 8 and L is equals to 12. Therefore, limit x tends to 2 to x plus 8 is equals to 12. Got it, guys? This is the way of writing your delta epsilon. For first write let and then give the relation which you have already found out between delta and epsilon. Then write mod x minus 2 is less than delta. From there try to bring out the structure of the limit. Okay, and then you are done. Just put the value of epsilon in place of delta and then you are done with the proof. Similarly, we can prove it for quadratic equations itself or second degree excess. Suppose in the second problem we have prove limit x tends to 3 x square equals to 9. Okay, so how will we do it? First let us do the scratch work. So scratch work, mod of x square minus 9 less than epsilon, that implies to mod of x minus 3 times x plus 3 less than epsilon. Now for x in between 3 plus delta and 3 minus delta, okay, max value of x can be 4. Max value of x can be 4. Okay, because getting my point, right? Because basically we are having the closest values towards x, x doesn't okay, getting my point. The max value of x will be x, the max value of x will be 4. Okay, here this happens because you see, if you draw the axis, if this is your x equals to 3, then this is your 3 plus delta, this is your 3 minus delta. But the thing is that this delta is very small. This delta is very small. This delta is not large. This delta tends to 0. This delta is very small. In a very small interval, we are actually defining this particular process. Okay, because if this interval would have been very large, then the limit has no basic representation, right? So this delta is very small. So the max to max value which x can have, considering it integral, will be 4. And if the max value of x will be 4, then we can say that mod of x plus 3 will be less than 7. Mod of x plus 3 will be less than 7. Okay, so from there we can say that mod of x minus 3 times 7 will be less than epsilon, or mod of x minus 3 is less than epsilon over 7. Okay, since mod of x minus 3 is less than delta, that implies to delta equals to epsilon over 7, and thus we will be starting with this. Okay, now we move on to the proof. So let delta equals to epsilon over 7. Now mod of x minus 3 is less than delta, that implies to mod of x minus 3 is less than 7, x minus 3 is less than 7 delta, that implies to mod of x plus 3 times x minus 3 is less than 7 delta, where mod of x plus 3 is less than 7 when x lies between 3 minus delta and 3 plus delta. Okay, that implies mod of x square minus 9 is less than 7 delta, that implies mod of x square minus 9 is less than epsilon, that implies mod of fx minus L is less than epsilon, where fx equals to x square, L equals to 9. Therefore limit x tends to 3, x square is equals to 9. Got it? Okay, so now we will see the last problem of this lecture. Now see, if you are given a x cube term, do the same method. Okay, I am showing you a problem on x cube term itself. I am giving you a rough of it. Suppose you need to prove this, that limit x tends to 3, x cube is equals to 27. So what you have from here, ki mod of x cube minus 27 is less than epsilon, and from here you get that x minus 3 times x square plus ax, so plus 3x plus 9 is less than epsilon. Okay, got it? You know na ki x cube minus a cube is equals to x minus a times x square plus ax plus a square. So here a is 3 and x is as it is, so just place 3 in wherever here is a. Okay, so after doing this, what you need to do is that you need to do the same method which we earlier did. Here x tends to c, so the maximum value of x can be 4. Okay, so putting x equals to 4 here, you get a value, and if you put 4 there, what do you get? You get 16 plus 12, 28 plus 9, 37. So this becomes your epsilon over 37, and then take that delta equals to epsilon over 37 and go on with the proof. That's it. Okay, so now we will be solving a trigonometric problem, which is trigonometric problem using the delta epsilon proof, which is very conceptual in nature. The problem says that limit x tends to 2, x minus 2 whole to the power 7 times cos of 2 over x minus 2 is equals to 0. Okay, we need to prove this. So as we were talking about, so first let us do the scratch work. Okay, so let us do the scratch work. So under scratch work, we find that mod of x minus 2 whole to the power 7 times cos of 2 over x minus 2, this is less than epsilon, because we are not writing the subtraction of 0. So from here we can say that mod of x minus 2 whole to the power 7 times mod of cos of 2 over x minus 2 is less than epsilon. Now see, we know that mod of cos theta is less than 1 or less than equals to 1 for all theta. for all theta belongs to the set of reals. Okay, so from here we can say that this implies that mod of x minus 2 to whole to the power 7 is less than epsilon times 1 is less than epsilon. So basically that means that this is less than epsilon. From here we find that mod of x minus 2 whole to the power 7 is less than epsilon. That is mod of x minus 2 is less than epsilon whole to the power 1 over 7, and therefore we can take that your delta is equals to epsilon to the power 1 over 7, and then we are done with our problem. Okay, so now let's move on to the proof. So proof says that your mod of x minus 2 is less than delta. Let delta is equals to epsilon to the power 1 over 7. Okay, from here we get that. Okay, so from here we can say that mod of x minus 2 whole to the power 7 is less than delta to the power 7. So mod of x minus 2 whole to the power 7 is less than delta to the power 7. That implies mod of x minus 2 whole to the power 7 times 1 is less than delta to the power 7, replacing 1 with cos of 2 over x minus 2 is less than delta to the power 7. That implies mod of x minus 2 whole to the power 7 times cos of 2 over x minus 2 is less than delta to the power 7. That implies to fx minus 0 is less than delta to the power 7 if replaced with epsilon to the power 1 over 7 whole to the power 7, that is less than epsilon. That implies to limit, or let me write it, that implies to limit x tends to 2 x minus 2 whole to the power 7 times cos of 2 over x minus 2 is equals to 0. That is your required limit. So this was all for today, guys. These are all the problems which I needed to show you for delta epsilon proof. I hope you understood the video. With this video we are finishing off limits, and we will be starting with derivatives. So guys, meet you in the next lecture.